Felt me like a Hellcat.
Okay, so I'll move on here and I'll talk about Inter, and I know we've got some Inter folks here. Thank you, Inter Worldwide. Very much appreciated. If you're new, please subscribe. Please drop a like. Helps us out big time. Inter, I mean, they're already very deep. You know, I think the biggest priority for them, in my opinion, is find a buyer for Christian Eriksen, which they shouldn't have trouble doing. No. He doesn't fit at Inter. I think he goes somewhere else and he performs, and I don't think Inter are going to terribly miss him. I think that's their biggest priority, you know, when you take a look at everything here. If they're getting Papu Gomez, what is he? You know, does he play in a midfield? I think he's a support striker, you know, to Lukaku. I don't think you can play him in that midfield three, you know, the way Conte wants it situated. He wants battlers, he wants combat guys, as well as he wants, you know, technicians, which Nicola Barella ticks all of those boxes. As an example, Stefano Sensi, when he's fit, he ticks all of those boxes. Brozovic ticks all of those boxes, takes their set pieces. Bobby Gaggs doesn't tick all of those boxes, but Antonio Conte is doing something right with him. You know, so priority one is finding a buyer for Christian Eriksen and getting some money for them. Now, it's Inter and it's Antonio Conte. If they get somebody in January, it's going to be a name. So Papu Gomez is practical. Yeah. You know, but who else beyond that? Well, what do they need? You know, they deputize Ivan Perisic at left wing back. That's been decent. You know, Ashley Young is a veteran and he's getting up there in years. I think that a proper left wing back is something that they might want to seek out if they can find one. Maybe they're developing a young one, and Uncle Sharma and folks could probably, you know, steer me in the direction of somebody that they're probably looking at. But when I look at the rest of this roster, it's pretty well set. I don't know how much more Antonio Conte could possibly want, especially for a team that's only doing Serie A now and Coppa Italia, but only doing Serie A. So for me, the priority is find a buyer for Eriksen. It's not going to be hard to get some money from him, say, hey, we tried, and let him move on and let him develop. You let him further his career at a different place where he's going to be a better fit.
I think it's always tricky in this time of year, especially the teams that are the contenders, that they bring in too much talent and it disrupts the chemistry that they've had. We've seen it in the past many times with many teams. There's plenty of examples. So you want to be careful of that. I mean, just look at, you know, from Milan's side of things, you know, El Shaarawy is having a fantastic year several years ago, brought in Balotelli, and El Shaarawy's goal output just disappears. So you got to worry about that kind of stuff. And I think Inter are in a good place. They're thinking maybe another striker. My only worry about bringing in a guy like Papu Gomez is where is he going to fit? I mean, the combination of Lukaku and Lautaro is a fantastic combination. You have Alexis Sanchez that you can bring off the bench or the occasional start, and he fits in well. So where does Papu fit? Depends on the kind of formation that Conte wants to roll out. I know he rolled out a 3-4-3 the last game they played, and I could see him fitting in something like that. But their standard formation is going to be hard to replace some of the guys, at least in, you know, Arturo over Papu Gomez. It's going to be tricky how they could do it. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Conte. But if anyone could mess up Papu Gomez, it's probably Conte as well. We saw what happened with Eriksen, right? So it's definitely a tricky thing. So,
Uncle Sharma, I'm going to throw a couple of guys at you and tell me what you think. Anybody else also on you know, in the chat on Inter, let me know what you think. For a left wing back, which it sounds like he agrees with me. How about Zanussi from Porto, who is playing as a left back right now in a back four, but certainly could make the transition. I would have said until he went to Manchester United, Alex Telles would have probably been somebody Antonio Conte would have loved to have.
You think he's not ready for the big time? Leave the small club of Manchester and come to Inter?
Let him go play for the JV team for a little while. Let him develop. So Zanussi from Porto, the one that probably won't happen because you already plucked Hakimi from them. Rafael Guerrero from Borussia Dortmund, but I just can't see that.
By all means, go for all the Dortmund players, please.
Right. You as a Schalke fan would definitely like that. So, and I think that's pretty much it. You know, I don't know if there's, you know, I can't think of anybody else, you know, out there Junior Firpo gets frustrated with having to share playing time with Jordi Alba. That would probably be the other one. Those would be probably the names that I would throw out for Inter.
I see a lot of people commenting about the deputizing role for a striker, a backup to Lukaku. What if they went after Scamacca? It's someone who doesn't have to be in the starter. Inter can spend whatever they want on him, and then they have a youngster that they can mold, hopefully in the likes of Lukaku. I mean, he's a big, tall striker, speed, talent. It's an option.
It is. But you got to find playing time for him. I mean, he's starting and playing for Genoa. I mean, it's somebody that you're going to have to bring in and then loan back out. Emerson Palmieri is
I've heard that name.
Hate it. I don't hate it. And I know that they talked about Marcos Alonso in the past too.
Yeah.
As it seems like Ben Chilwell is the main left back for Chelsea.
Let's look at England for any kind of players to bring in, because that's where Conte is going to be looking.
I suppose. Have you guys discussed DePaul? Unsure if Udinese want to cash in and risk being relegated. We haven't talked about DePaul yet. We will get to him, I think, when we talk about Udinese. But let's move on, Richard.
What about him to Inter? Well, what about him to Inter, maybe?
I mean, he plays a central position right now for Udinese.
Yeah.
So
it would either be, if Inter wants someone, a big name, it'd have to be, if it's DePaul, it'll be DePaul or Papu Gomez. It won't be both, because I think they both play similar roles. They both could play the trequartista role, up to Adriano's point. So it's difficult. That would be a big it's about time he makes a big move, but who knows?
Yep.
He might be a lifer at Udinese unfortunately.
Yep.